Pregame.com.
Vegas Runner here with Brian Leonard, breaking down a little Big East action. Marquette at UConn. This is Brian's pick, so let's see what he likes. What do you think the line's going to be?
Well, I made it 2 for Marquette.
That's your true line, meaning you think Marquette...
I actually think Marquette's probably going to come out as a 1-point favorite, but I liked Marquette, and I wanted to make sure that even if I put it out at 2, it was still going to be a play.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be thrown off by the line many times in these videos because we don't know what the lines are going to be. It keeps us off a certain best. But I really like the situation for Marquette. They've won 9 out of the last 10 games. I did a video with the UConn game earlier against Syracuse. And that was a game where UConn was said that they gave up the game before. So that was really a situation where they needed to come out well with Syracuse. And they didn't. That told me a lot about this UConn team. The head coach is still going to be out for a couple more games. And if you followed them, they're not very good.
Without Calhoun there.
I've never been a huge Calhoun fan. But you see the drop-off when he's there and when he's not. And they have not been very good.
Right.
Now, they're off a big win the other day. They played at DePaul or somebody, and they beat them pretty well. But you take a look at the Connecticut games. I mean, early in the season, they beat Florida State and Harvard. Since they've gotten into conference play, they really
500 at best.
They've lost to the teams they're supposed to lose to, and they beat the weaker teams. So I haven't been overly impressed by Connecticut. They're very good underneath, but Marquette is so much better shooting from the outside. The guard play on Marquette is tremendous. I mean, you take a look. Assist to field goal percentages. Assisted field goal percentages. Marquette's 3rd in the country. Connecticut's 176th. You take a look at turnover margins. You take a look at overall assists, steals. Everything points to the guard play of Marquette being able to dominate this game. Connecticut doesn't defend a 3 very well. Marquette's actually a pretty good 3-shooting team. I like Marquette in this game. Like I said, they've won 9 out of 10 games. I have not been impressed with Connecticut. I think this is the point right here where Marquette gets over the hump and actually wins in Connecticut. And I'm willing to lay some points here.
I was surprised. I made my line Connecticut 1, but I expected the books will bring out Marquette a slight favorite, a 1-point favorite. The one thing about Connecticut is this. We touched on it last week on the video with Syracuse. You weren't going to get much value on the national champions the following year. You know that going in. With that said, this team's had an extremely difficult schedule. 11th toughest strength of schedule according to Ken Pomeroy. With that said, they're not rated anywhere in the polls, AP polls, but they're 22 in RPI. Now you look at Marquette, 12th in AP, 12th in RPI. Do you believe that Marquette is for real? They're a top 15 team, or is it a down year for the Big East and they look better than they truly are? Because they're 21-5, 10-3 in conference. They're right there, same record as Notre Dame, but Notre Dame beat them. So everyone's behind Syracuse. I don't think anyone catches them. But is this a real 21-5 team? You know, 10-3 in conference in this year's Big East. Do you think they're?
I think they're a typical Marquette team. They remind me a lot of Michigan State, a team that's not flashy,
right? And
they just get the job done. They seem to get better as the season goes on. Michigan State, as we see this year, has done the same thing again. It reminds me a lot of that, and I agree. The Big East is down. I mean, it's top heavy with Syracuse. There's a lot of the teams middle and down in this conference are not very good. You know, Connecticut came out of nowhere last year in the tournament and wins it all. This year's team isn't even as good as that team was in the regular season.
I
mean,
agree.
They got hot at the right time.
I agree.
And they are good underneath. I mean, but the guard plays bad on this team. They don't defend very well away from the basket. I just have not been impressed by Connecticut.
No, I agree. I haven't been impressed by them either. 12-2 at home, but again, what the level of competition in them home games. One thing I will add is UConn, as mediocre of a season as they're having, they do play defense at times because they have that size. They're going to have a huge height advantage over Marquette. I think this game's going to come down to tempo. You got two teams that play different style of ball. Marquette, 28th in the country in possessions, you know, in tempo. Connecticut, 264th. One team wants to walk it up, use the big men. The other team wants to run you because they have no size. You think Marquette will be able to dictate that tempo on the road?
Usually the home team does. but talent also has an effect. In Connecticut,
And Connecticut's a young team, experienced-wise.
Very young team. So it's a situation. Connecticut's doing what they should be doing. I mean, your best players are your inside players. You don't have great guard play, so you should slow the pace. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and they're still not having a lot of success doing it.
Gotcha. So Brian's giving out Marquette. I have no reason to fade it whatsoever. Forward Devontae Gardner is doubtful for Marquette. 10 points a game, 5.4 rebounds. So make sure you keep an eye on that, see whether he's going to play or not against UConn. Might need a big guy in there. Brian's giving out Marquette. He likes them even at -1, even at -2. So pretty much a good bet, best bet possibly for you.
It could be.
All right, so there you have it. Marquette, UConn. He gives the nod to Marquette. We'll be back with some NBA action. Linsanity taking over the NBA. We're going to break down some Knicks games. Big one they got on Sunday. We'll be right back.